Hi everyone, welcome to my channel. Today, we're delving into the tragic case of Nancy Parris-Gorsi. Her story highlights the complexities and uncertainties of the pursuit of personal happiness and a better life. Often, individuals embark on journeys across countries and continents seeking fulfillment and opportunities. However, these quests can lead to unexpected challenges, disillusionment, or even tragedy. Nancy's tale resonates deeply in Spain, where she left her homeland in Central America in search of employment to support her daughters and elderly parents. Sadly, she never made it back. Fragments of her mutilated body were discovered in remote, inaccessible areas, shedding light on the horrors she faced. Born into poverty in Guatemala, Nancy fought against the odds. Despite excelling academically and securing a degree in business administration, career prospects eluded her. She entered into an unregistered marriage, bearing 2 daughters, only for the relationship to falter, leaving her to shoulder the burden alone. Driven by the hope of a better life, Nancy made the bold decision to relocate to Europe, settling in Spain. With limited resources, she worked tirelessly to save money for her journey. In 2018, she embarked on her new chapter, leaving her daughters in the care of her parents. In Spain, Nancy juggled odd jobs to sustain herself and support her family back home. Despite the challenges, she remained optimistic, believing in the promise of Europe. Her dreams took a tragic turn when she met Carlos Andrés Bustamante, a man she hoped would bring her the happiness she longed for. Initially, their relationship seemed promising, but Nancy soon found herself shouldering the financial burden. Despite this, she never voiced her struggles to her family, painting a picture of happiness and abundance. Tragically, Nancy's journey came to a devastating end when she and Carlos decided to move to Santander, where her fate took a dark turn. Nancy's story serves as a poignant reminder of the risks and uncertainties inherent in the pursuit of dreams. It underscores the importance of remaining vigilant and aware of the people we encounter on our journeys. As we reflect on Nancy's tragic tale, may we be reminded to cherish the moments of happiness and safety in our own lives. Nancy remarked on the improved climate and job opportunities in their new location, but underlying issues emerged in her relationship with Carlos. Bustamante revealed himself to be possessive, volatile, and cruel, lacking any career aspirations and content with being financially supported by Nancy. His substance abuse and occasional violent outbursts further strained their relationship, leading Nancy to question her future with him. On the evening of August 12th, while video chatting with her parents, Carlos's aggressive behavior became evident as he interrogated Nancy about her conversations. This unsettling pattern repeated the following day, escalating into verbal threats and intimidation. Despite Nancy's attempts to reassure her family, their concern grew, prompting them to urge her to involve the authorities. However, Nancy remained hesitant to seek outside intervention, believing she could handle the situation herself. Yet during a candid conversation with her sister on August 17th, Nancy ominously hinted at the danger she felt, expressing her fear that Carlos would be to blame if anything were to happen to her. The situation took a dire turn on August 20th when Nancy abruptly ceased communication. Concerned by her uncharacteristic silence, her family attempted to reach out to Carlos, but to no avail. With Nancy's brothers unable to quickly check on her due to their distant location, the gravity of the situation became increasingly apparent. A perplexing message from Carlos's phone claimed that he and Nancy had parted ways, but suspicions arose when Carlos failed to cooperate with efforts to file a missing person report. In desperation, Nancy's family turned to Carlos's mother, Sandra Bustamante, hoping for answers. Sandra's tearful confession of her suspicions regarding her son's potential involvement in harm against Nancy added to the mounting concern. Despite Sandra's lack of knowledge about their whereabouts, her admission further fueled suspicions, prompting law enforcement to intervene. As the investigation unfolded, it became evident that Nancy's disappearance was fraught with danger and uncertainty, leaving her family desperate for answers and justice. To assist in the search for Carlos and uncover the truth behind Nancy's disappearance, Sandra shared crucial information with the officers. She recounted her discussions with Nancy's brothers and presented a lengthy text message sent by Nancy days before her disappearance. In the message, Nancy implored Sandra never to provide money to Carlos, citing his propensity to squander it on alcohol and drugs, exacerbating his aggression and cruelty. Concerned for her safety, Nancy expressed her intention to end the relationship before further harm ensued. Further complicating matters was Carlos's history of violence, including prior convictions for assaulting women, including his own mother. As the investigation unfolded, it became evident that the relationship between Carlos and Nancy was fraught from the beginning. Despite initially concealing her true occupation, Nancy was revealed to provide escort services, contributing significantly to their income. Carlos's jealousy and controlling behavior intensified after Nancy's pregnancy, leading to frequent conflicts and financial struggles. Despite attempts to maintain contact, Nancy and Carlos disappeared from their rented apartment for nearly a week before police obtained a warrant to search the premises. The apartment yielded chilling evidence of Nancy's demise, with blood traces and bodily fragments suggesting a gruesome end. Carlos swiftly emerged as the prime suspect, with incriminating evidence such as his fingerprints on a package containing a hatchet. Security footage further implicated him, showing his purchase of the hatchet and other items shortly before Nancy's disappearance. Despite attempts to deflect suspicion by reporting Nancy missing, Carlos's erratic behavior and incriminating evidence made him the focal point of the investigation. In a surprising turn of events, Carlos unexpectedly turned himself in at a police station in Madrid, but his attempts to evade suspicion were in vain. As authorities intensified their efforts to locate Nancy's remains, Carlos remained unreachable, prompting extensive searches and surveillance to track his movements and uncover the truth behind the tragic events. Nancy moved to Santander, a city with more job opportunities. Carlos knew Nancy worked as an escort and was okay with it at first because it paid their bills. But when Nancy got pregnant, Carlos got worried about who the baby's father might be. He became really jealous and controlling, sometimes not letting her talk to other men and making her work when they needed money. During a week-long disappearance, nobody knew where Nancy and Carlos were. Unexpectedly, it wasn't until August 26th that police finally obtained a warrant to search the couple's unoccupied rental apartment in Santander. What they found there was incredibly shocking and left no doubt that Nancy was no longer alive. Carlos had been in contact, but he had only responded to Ed with messages and had never disclosed his location. Although some attempts had been made to clean them up, blood traces were found almost everywhere in the apartment. They were mostly visible even to the unaided eye in the clogged bathroom drains and toilet fragments of Bourne's hair, as well as pieces of skin and internal organs. Forensic analysis verified that all of these items belonged to the missing woman, even though her remains were not found in the apartment. The crime scene suggested that Nancy had been brutally dismembered in the bathroom and her remains disposed of elsewhere. Carlos immediately became the prime suspect in the case. He remained unreachable, and his whereabouts were unknown. Also found in the apartment was a package from a small hatchet purchased at a local hardware store. The tool itself was not found, but Carlos Bustamante's clear fingerprints were on the package. Security footage from that store showed that on August 20th, Carlos bought the hatchet, a pair of sturdy rubber gloves, and large trash bags at a market near their home. He purchased a small cart from an elderly vendor who immediately recognized the suspect from a photo shown to him. Arrest and search for the body. The day after the grim discoveries in the apartment, an unsuspecting Carlos unexpectedly turned himself in at a police station in Madrid, trying to deflect suspicion from himself. He went to report Nancy missing, but was immediately arrested as the main suspect in the gruesome crime. Carlos claimed he had nothing to do with what happened, stating they had ARUED and parted ways on August 20th. He said he left town in a fit of emotion and was unaware of any subsequent events involving Nancy. He suggested that someone might have attacked her when she returned to the apartment to gather her belongings. Carlos's version sounded far-fetched, especially after police found his fingerprints on the hatchet's packaging. In the following days, nearby wastelands, sewer systems, and the coastline were thoroughly searched. With the help of dares, but no trace of Nancy was found, the police then decided to track all of Carlos's movements from August 20th to the 26th using his mobile phone signals. It emerged that he had journeyed for 3 days along the coast, making stops in the cities of Bilbao and Burgos before arriving in Madrid. It was evident Carlos was attempting to conceal his movements, yet the notion of him traveling with a dismembered body across the country seemed improbable. Authorities persisted in their investigation, focusing their search on Santander. Surveillance footage captured him heading towards a vast natural park on the evening of August 20th. Late at night, he came back to the apartment, then left again, this time with a cart loaded with oddly shaped bags. With few cameras in the park, once Carlos entered the wooded area, he vanished, only to reappear later with a significantly lighter cart. He then proceeded towards the railway tracks, which led to a steep cliff covered in bushes. His return, much lighter, provided law enforcement with a clear indication of where to focus their search for the body. The extremely decomposed human remains in bags discovered in dense underbrush on a mountainside on September 16th were finally recognized as belonging to the missing. Nancy Gorsey was cut into 20 parts with a hatchet, ACC, and everything Carlos had carried on the cart was located, but something was still missing. Nancy, as we all remember, was 4 months pregnant, and her unborn was nowhere to be found in any of the bags. The victim's lower abdomen and genitalia had been brutally disfigured with a knife and hatchet, suggesting that the perpetrator had taken the fetus and removed it from the mother's body separately. Although the victim continuously denied any involvement, he made contradictory statements, and he persisted in trying to place the blame on an unidentified person. Investigators were able to piece together the victim's story because bloodstains from his clothing and shoes were discovered. Forensic experts think that on August 20th, in the afternoon, after an altercation, the man severely beat and strangled his pregnant partner in the kitchen, where bloodstains were discovered on the walls and floor. This is the whole story of the tragic circumstances that led up to this crime. After moving Nancy's body to the bathroom, Carlos went shopping at a hardware store and a market. There, he used a hatchet and a large kitchen knife to divide Nancy's body into 20 parts, put the parts in bags, and loaded everything onto a cart. He then drove to the park and searched for quiet areas where he could dispose of the body late at night. Departing the apartment, he meticulously followed a predetermined path into the park, strategically dispersing the bags in different areas, harboring the hope they would remain undiscovered. The trial and subsequent sentencing did little to uncover the whereabouts of the fetus extracted from Nancy's body. Bustamante staunchly denied any wrongdoing, professing love for the victim from the time of the heinous crime until his apprehension in Madrid. He sustained his lifestyle by squandering funds pilfered from Gorsi, frequenting bars across multiple cities amidst the ongoing investigation. Law enforcement spent nearly 2 years gathering evidence and testimonies. The murderer's trial didn't commence until July 2022, and by November of the same year, Carlos was convicted of premeditated murder, fetal homicide, and body desecration. However, many deemed the sentence too lenient. Bustamante received a 25-12-year prison term and was ordered to pay $150,000 in compensation to the victim's family. Subscribe to my channel for more gripping stories to come.